That sound, I got that heat, let's go.
What up, good people? What up? What up? It's good to have you guys here. Do me a solid. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm just doing a quick audio check because we're doing a call-in show and things can get a little hairy when I set up those meets and those calls. So I'm going to just turn down the music just a little bit, and I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me loud and clear and there isn't any static, any loop feedback things going on. So I, once I got that kind of situated, then, I want to go ahead and proceed with the show, but I just want to make sure. There's some strange sounds in the audio. Let me see here. I just want to make sure. All right, let's see if we can get a sound check now. Let me know if that sound is gone. I just restarted my microphone and interface. Let me know if that sound is gone. I just restarted my... Okay, I just listened to it. It seems okay. You guys let me know if you still hear that sound. Actually, let me go ahead and turn down the music completely. Let me know if you still hear that sound. Okay, I just listened to it. It seems okay. Yeah, Razor, let me know, man. Let me know if we're good. What up, Goon? Sound is back to normal. Okay, so whatever that sound was, I'm assuming it's gone. Let me know if that is the case. That sound, I think, was some kind of static, some RF noise coming from like my device, my phone, hitting the mic or something. I don't know. So I just disabled, put the phone in airplane mode. It's connected to Wi-Fi, but I turned off the cellular radio, so we should be golden. Next, what I want to do... Okay, sound is back to normal. We're good. Let's see if hopefully the video works. Okay, video is there. Okay, do you guys see me like I see me? And hopefully the live chat shows up there in the bottom right-hand side. Last I checked, I had it programmed to be there. So that way you guys and others can see the live chat and what's going on there. Let me know if the sound is still good. Razor, Goon, someone. Let me know that the microphone is not crackling, not doing any weird robotic sounds. The lighting looks great. Okay, alright, cool. Alright. All you should see is me and like the microphone, my headphones, that's it. There shouldn't be anything else. And then there should be a picture over here of LeBron in a Mavericks jersey, because we're going to talk about that tonight. Went ahead and dropped the link to the show for call-in purposes. Lighting looks great. Okay, that message just showed up. Let me see if anything else is showing. Yeah, I think we should be golden. Okay, I'm gonna just check audio really quick. I'm gonna mute me and see if it's we sound is back to. Alright, I think we are good. I think we are. Okay, so the link for the call-in show. All you got to do is have a Google account. It's a Google Meet. It's literally a video audio call. I can let you in, say your piece. There's tons and tons to discuss. In fact, I mean, I really do want to get interactive with you guys tonight because I think there's so much to discuss as it pertains to, free agency and some of the moves that have already happened. And I'm sure you guys have your favorite teams and your home teams and you want to discuss them. You know what I mean? So I wanted to kind of open up the platform. And then for the sake of Goon, who wanted to discuss some LeBron stuff, of course, LeBron's still a prominent figure within the league, player who has a lot of power and a lot of influence and those kind of things. But I do want to say hello to everybody that's here in the live chat. Shout out to Razor for walking me through the technical difficulties. Appreciate you. Absolutely, it will be an interesting show. A lot of things happening. from teams to coaches, front office moves, free agencies, trades, signings, a lot of rumor stuff, some pretty crazy things that are kind of unfortunate, and other things that are really cool and interesting. It's a lot. It is a lot. And like I said, that's why I wanted to do a call-in show and make sure we got the voice of the people and get the pulse of what everybody is thinking and how they see things. You're never going to see things the same exact way as someone else, right? You're always going to have some things that differ and all that. But, I want to hear you guys out. That's really what it's about. I like to give people the platform, let them say their piece. Sometimes I'll agree, sometimes I'll disagree, but, and sometimes you guys throw some good ideas at me too, seeing it in a different perspective. So shout out to Razor. Appreciate you for being here. I see Sean. Welcome to the channel. You said first time here. Hopefully not your last. We're looking forward to growing this community, talking hoops, and we're going to do some NFL stuff too once the season starts. We've already got some action, some signings, and some interesting things that are happening with rosters. I was just watching the Aaron Rodgers thing play out with Pittsburgh. That's intriguing for that division. It's you got the Browns, you got the Bengals, Steelers, Ravens. There's a lot happening there. There's other divisions too. There's obviously the Super Bowl defending Eagles, and we can always have that conversation about the Chiefs and the Bills and MVP races and things, and we could do predictions. So yeah, there's a lot there. What else? Goon said he wanted to call in, so I wanted to the call-in show. But let's start first with the elephant in the room, with this whole LeBron James story. I want to make sure I preface this because I think sometimes people get caught up. And by the way, you guys can call in at any time, and I'll get you your opportunity to discuss it here on the show. The LeBron James rumor mill is in full swing, and part of that is on purpose and by design. Like, this is what LeBron wants. He wants to be in the news cycle. He wants to be relevant. He wants to be leading the discussion about the NBA. It's, I think, a shameless and guiltless pleasure, I should say, that LeBron is on the forefront of everybody's topics, right? So ESPN and other mass media outlets are going to lead their shows with this conversation about LeBron potentially demanding a trade because he doesn't feel that the Lakers are competitive enough. And in its fundamental essence, a trade to get LeBron out of LA is utterly complicated. It's going to involve multiple teams, in my opinion, like a 3-team type trade setup. The Lakers are going to want to acquire players and picks, or really good player and really nice picks, right? And you look at the Mavericks, and I don't know what their pick situation is, but the players they have, they want to keep. Woodage, what up, bro? He said LeBron doesn't think the Lakers aren't competitive enough. I wonder why that is. Okay, so you got Luka Doncic, which, what can you say? The guy's an incredible talent. He's been to the NBA Finals. He's been like a runner-up in MVP voting. He's immensely talented offensively. We know his limitations. We know about the conditioning issues. We know about his questionable preparation for season readiness and things of that nature. The other piece of this is what other players are on the roster, right? And it's Austin Reeves. I think you start there, and then you start looking around, and it's like these players that maybe don't complement the Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves connection. What the Lakers need is rebounding. What the Lakers need is defense. What the Lakers need is all the things that LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves can't do. Rebounding, defense. They don't have it. They've got a bench that they don't use. They've got players they don't trust. That's a JJ Redick problem, so the coach falls on him too. Woodage follows up, LeBron pretty much forced the Lakers to trade all their picks and young players. That's historically what LeBron has done when he's gone to organizations. By going into this win now mode, It forces you to do things out of process, right? So you compromise all of your future picks, you compromise all of your flexibility, your financial flexibility, because you're all in trying to build a roster that's win now for LeBron. I've always thought it was a fool's errand, because when LeBron was in Cleveland, all those years he won one ring, and they were constantly trying to tweak and adjust the roster and picks and players and getting him what he wanted. He produced one ring in Cleveland in, 12, 13 years or something of his career. In Miami, with several Hall of Famers, he provided 2 rings out of 4 chances. And then in LA, being there, I think, since 2019, in 5 or 6 years, he's produced 1 ring. Collectively, as a career, his career has greatness and achievement. But wherever he goes to an organization, you're trying to win for a chance to win a title, but then you're left with a roster that is completely decimated for the future. It was built or is tempted to be built for him, and if he leaves, you're left with scraps, right? Players that were supposed to be tailored for his needs. Now you're trying to figure out where you're going to go in the future, and that's essentially what the Lakers are dealing with. A future that doesn't involve LeBron, a future that involves building around Luka Doncic. And those are very different roster needs. In fact, in my opinion, the Lakers cannot win a championship with LeBron on their roster. And in my humble opinion, no team in the NBA can win an NBA Finals with LeBron on their roster. And I'm going to tell you guys why. LeBron is scheduled to make $52.6 million. That is poison to the NBA salary cap. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. The value that LeBron provides is 0. He is valuable to the Lakers if he retires as a Laker. Jeannie Buss knows that. The organization knew that. His value to any other franchise is so low because of the money that they're paying and the crippling that it would force onto the roster, because now you've limited what you can add as supplemental pieces to the roster. And the fact that LeBron is going to want to play 35 minutes a game and continue to add to his statistical accomplishments as an all-time great. That is by far the most important thing to him in the regular season as a player. He is not trying to get better. He is not trying to help his teammates get better. If that happens in the process, fine. He wants automatic rings because he's not truthful when he talks about ring culture. That is deflection. That is narrative rewriting. That's historical rewriting. He speaks out of both sides of his mouth. He does not mean what he says, and he doesn't say what he means. He's just like that. It's just his personality. It's just his agenda, and whoever's willing to listen to him and entertain him and believe him, they're buying those wolf tickets. Well, I ain't buying them, and I can see what this all is. I, for one, am happy that my Cavaliers do not seem interested in LeBron. They have a roster that is built for the future with young players who are very, very good. I think that for the Cavs, for example, you don't want LeBron anywhere near your roster. In fact, if I'm the Mavs, I don't want LeBron near my roster. Why? I've got, hopefully, Kyrie Irving coming back to be somewhat like himself, at least by the playoff run. I have Anthony Davis, who's one of the best two-way players in the NBA. We're talking about a guy who was in the MVP discussion before December last year, right? The first 2 months of the year, before he got injured. They have really nice centers, supplemental pieces who can defend, who can rebound, rim roll, all those things. They have Klay Thompson, who's a nice veteran. You have PJ Tucker, who has kind of developed into a nice player. You have Jason Kidd. You have a brand new first overall pick in Cooper Flagg, who needs to develop an identity, needs to develop as a player, needs his opportunity to grow. He needs the sun to shine. He needs water. He needs attention from the coach. He doesn't need distraction, right? He needs veteran leadership that is going to nurture his game's development. I mean, you would think that a veteran like LeBron would help him along, right? You would think, but there's people talking about Cooper Flag getting traded to the Lakers for LeBron. That is absurdity. LeBron is literally on his last year. In fact, if he plays after this year, it's going to be painful because he will continue to watch his game erode. Every year in the playoffs, we see him fade in the final frames of the game. Runs out of gas, he's exhausted. You know, what do you expect? 25, 30 minutes of solid play a game? I think that would be great for LeBron in these final, this final season with these final games. But if you can't play 35, 40 meaningful minutes and you're just going to have a depleted roster for it, what's the point? Razor said, I put an asterisk on his Miami rings because he needed to join 2 All-Stars to win them. I don't put an asterisk on those rings. It's just not the way that I like to see players do it. I mean, nobody likes to see like complete and utter manipulation of rosters. I put a lot of that onus on D Wade, actually. I really do. I put a lot of responsibility on Dwayne Wade because he was cool with it, right? If Dwayne Wade wanted to remain competitive and compete against LeBron and compete against Kobe Bryant and compete against the greats of the league, he wouldn't have allowed it. He would have said to Pat Riley, no way. He would have said to LeBron, stop it. That's not how we do things. But he facilitated it. He okayed it. He stamped it. He co-signed it. So while a lot of people have a lot of venom for LeBron for the Miami thing, I put a lot of that responsibility on Dwayne Wade, who, in my opinion, was like arguably second or third best player in the league. He won a championship, an NBA Finals MVP in 2006 as the main guy, carrying Shaq. And then those following years, he competed as the team kind of changed, and he was in the MVP discussions. He was an All-NBA player. He was an All-Star, an elite player in the league. It was him, LeBron, Kobe. Dwight Howard, those are the main players of that era. I put a lot of onus on Dwayne Wade for that because he put up the white flag and submitted to the idea that, yeah, we could team up and do this and it's all good. It's not all good. But the only reason LeBron went to Miami is because Dwayne Wade was cool with it. So I don't just blame LeBron. In fact, I put more blame on Dwayne Wade. And I put some blame onto Pat Riley too. I mean, is that how they did things? Like, is that cool? You just allow players to collude and destroy the competitive nature of the league where teams build themselves and construct rosters organically. I don't really blame LeBron all that much. I mean, some of it goes to him because he shouldn't be thinking like that either. But he was so desperate to win, to chase the ghost, he resorted to it, Woodage says, Mavs really probably have the most talented front line in the NBA with AD and Flag, and they're not to mention Gafford and Lively. Yes, they have nice players at those positions. The future is some combination of AD and Cooper Flag, at least for the next few years. And there's going to be a point where AD is going to go by the wayside, and his career is going to dwindle down to his last 2 years. Like, he's 32 years old. You got a few good years of AD. Who knows what his health is going to be like? Knock on wood, he stays on the floor. But, who knows what you could have. And he's been injury prone recently. So, that's a legitimate concern. LeBron willing to throw Bronny and JJ to the side and leave them to the Lakers to rot and probably get gone in a year or so. Now, in my opinion, Woodage, I don't think LeBron to the Mavs is a slam dunk. I don't think LeBron to the Mavs is easy to do or makes sense or is likely. I don't think any of those things. But the fact that LeBron is putting pressure on the Lakers, it's all in the attempt for them to make more room for players that satisfy what he needs to get a chance to win a ring. The thing is about LeBron winning a ring now in this point of his career. He's not going to be the best player in the finals if he gets to the finals, right? And makes a championship run. Let's say they win the finals. He's not going to be the best player on the team. He might not even be the second best player on the team at that point. So he's going to win a ring as a third wheel. Does that change his legacy? People are going to say, oh, he's a 5-time champion, but he was like the third player on his team. You know, I mean, it's cool, I guess. You know, it adds to the total. It's a factual statement he would be a 5-time champion, but it wouldn't really be part of his legacy. You know, so Woodage says 18 to 19-year-old with Hall of Fame potential for a 40. Okay, so I don't want to go that far. I don't want to go that far. I'm not going to say Cooper Flagg has Hall of Fame potential. That's, you never know, right? It's a wild card. He looks good. He has game. He's coming into the league in a position where he already has developed some skills, and he's going to a team with talented leaders there, right? Being there with Kyrie is a good thing. Being there with AD is a good thing. You can learn to be a professional. You know, Jason Kidd was a player. You know, you've already got some talent there that can kind of help him along and things of that nature. So he's in a good situation. What's up, Spurzan? Good to see you. Glad you could be here. Grab the camera for a Lamar edit. I don't know what that means, bro. I don't know. People have been saying LeBron's legacy is safe no matter how the Laker part of his career turned out. I don't know. Maybe. I'd say that most of what LeBron did in his career is outside of LA. Right? So it's like the Miami years, the first Cleveland years, the second Cleveland years. I mean, he won a championship in 2020. It's something for his career, right? It's people say that it's blemished because of the bubble ring in Orlando and all that, but I mean, he won it. So, I mean, it's part of his career, you know. I'm a Bulls fan anyway, and Matas Bazilis is my guy. Nice player. I like his old school mentality. Maybe him and Flagg can have a little rivalry. Oh, that would be cool, man. We need rivalries, right? We need competitive rivalries. We don't need hate-filled rivalries, right? You don't need, you know, just nastiness. But, you know, you like to see people competing. You like to see the edge, you know? Spurzan asks, Sneed, do you think Harper is getting more noise than Flagg? But I think for the wrong reasons, right? I think Harper is being viewed a certain way because he didn't want to play for the team that drafted him. A lot of people are saying he's going to be a bust. Him not wanting to play in Utah and not reporting and not wanting to be drafted there, that puts a little bit extra pressure on him. You know, it doesn't look good optically, you know, to say you don't want to play for a team and then they draft you anyways. It's kind of complicated. I mean, I think he's going to be good too. I watched some of his film from some games from last year, and I know a lot of people are saying he's going to be a bust. I don't know if I agree with that statement. He seems to have a decent game. He's good coming off of screens. He's got a decent handle. His first step is very fast. He's got prototypical length and range in terms of his positional build. I don't know. Looks like a good player to me. San Antonio is pushing Bryant more. I don't know. Anyways, I posted the link to the show. I know there's probably some people who wanted to discuss some things. Like I said, Goon wanted to discuss this Bron story or this Bron situation. He's really likely, in terms of where he wants to play, obviously he wants to pick a title contender. There are some teams who are poised for a chance to compete in the playoffs and get a chance to go to their conference finals. When I think about the Eastern Conference, obviously I think the Pacers are going to regress because they lost Miles Turner. Tyrese Halliburton is out for the year with a torn Achilles. There's just no way they could possibly get back to the finals. I mean, the fact that they got there this year and competed in a Game 7, right, is just impressive in and of itself. I just don't know how they can win without Halliburton long term and without Miles Turner now. Those are huge players to their success through to the finals. So they're obviously going to regress. I think the Celtics have shown you that next year is a complete wash. Obviously, they've got players that want to compete. Derek White's one of them. Jaylen Brown is another one. They're going to play. They're going to try to make all NBA teams, all-star teams, defensive player of the year considerations, all defensive. That's what they want to do, right? So they're going to play hard. Pritchard is still a nice player. But even their team has been reconstructed, right? Because they got rid of bad contracts. Drew Holiday's gone. Porzingis is gone. I mean, those aren't huge losses to their team's success because they didn't play that well or play much at all last year. But I mean, the team's different, Who else in the East? I think Orlando's going to make a step forward. I think the Pistons are coming, right? They've already kind of started their ascension. The Knicks, they made a free agent signing today, and, if they can get out of their own way and just have a good coach that feels secure and can lead them, that's what they need. They need to continue to get better as a team. Who else in the East? Atlanta has compiled some nice players, people. They're starting to put some pieces in Atlanta. Everybody thought they were wholesalers. They were just getting rid of everything last year. Clearly, it was to reconstruct the roster and keep their core guys. So it's, Dyson Daniels. It's, Trey, Ice Trey. Yeah, they're kind of trying to do their thing and get their roster right. Anybody else out in the East that we should mention? Cavs, obviously, they're mostly coming back the same. Their idea is to get their players better, right? Mitchell, I don't think there's much left to say about him. Mobley, I think, takes another step forward, becomes more assertive, more complete offensively, developing that game. He won Defensive Player of the Year. He might be better defensively next year than this year. So he could win another DPOY, being better. He might increase his scoring average, kick up his assists, his offensive involvement. Not disappearing in important games is another thing for him. Maybe a better rebounder. For Darius Garland, staying healthy. The Cavs are without Ty Jerome. They re-signed Sam Merrill. I think for the Cavs, it's about developing a starting small forward in DeAndre Hunter. And then, trying to make sure they know who his backup is. And they just have to sort those kind of things out. And not, Kenny Atkinson, he has to have learned something about the playoffs. You can't get cute in the playoffs, right? The Cavs self-imploded against the Pacers. That was their fault. It was a combination of the Pacers being really good and dangerous and the Cavs getting too cute. Kenny Atkinson getting too cute with his little zone that was getting cooked, by the three-point shooting from the Pacers, fearlessly destroying that zone. But that's what's happening in the East. And then for the Western Conference, it is the Thunder. Clearly, they are sustainably going to be there for a few years as the favorites in the West. They have the league MVP, NBA Finals MVP champion, right? And the roster is constructed in a way that it's very young. So they're going to be around. So LeBron's going to have to deal with that. The Golden State Warriors, they are who they are. They'll have a full season with Jimmy Butler. So they'll get better continuity, make some moves. Obviously, some changes have happened there. But Steph will be a little older. Jimmy's a little older. Dre a little older, right? So they'll be a little bit slower. But the supplemental piece is getting better and maybe them making some movement, fine-tuning the roster, the systems. They could be a little bit better than last year. The San Antonio Spurs are going to take a step forward. No doubt. God willing, Wemby comes back fully healthy, ready to go. He should be. They've got, players that they've been drafting, good young development type players who are going to be very good. I like what Stephon Castle became towards the end of the year as he developed over the course of the season. They're going to continue to get better. They got picks, so they're, I'm not saying they're going to be the second or third seed in the West, but I do think they're going to be competing for a legitimate playoff seed. And they need the experience in the playoffs, so I think they'll get there. De'Aaron Fox, right? A chance to lead that team with his sidekick, or whatever, him as the sidekick for Wemby. We'll see how that plays out. The Houston Rockets. I mean, if you guys aren't watching, There's a lot happening there. The Rockets are a force in the Western Conference. For very little, they acquired Kevin Durant. They didn't have to give up much. They didn't jeopardize their future. They kept their core together. They they extend Jabari Smith. They extend Fred VanVleet, so they keep their core guys. Amin Thompson developing and taking a step forward next year. Alperen Sengun, already an all-star. He will make another step forward next year. They bring in KD for the offensive potency. He's going to help them, at least offensively, to make them more efficient. They signed Dorian Finney-Smith. He'll be a rotational piece for this team. If he doesn't start, he's going to have an impactful role off the bench for about 20, 25 minutes a game. And I think he can help you defensively and as a shooter and a rebounder and those kind of things, because what he was missing in LA was a defined role every day, every game, every matchup. He's going to have Ime Udoka coaching him. People forget how good of a coach Ime is. So Houston's real. And Dallas, if LeBron doesn't get traded there, Dallas is going to be real, right? Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, those guys. Yes, the Western Conference is tough, Spurs, and absolutely. And it's not going to be easy to get a lot of regular season wins, and it's not going to be easy to get a high seed. There's injuries, and there's good fortune, and there's bad fortune, and there's all these things that occur in the course of the year. And investing heavily into old players seems like a fool's errand. I don't think the Lakers want to do that. I think they're trying to move on for LeBron, and he's making it very difficult. When LeBron took the $52.6 million player option, he made himself very difficult to trade. It was a player option. He didn't have to pick it up. He could have left as a free agent. It was a player option. So he signed. Now he's stuck. They don't have to do anything for him. And you came to LA, and you knew that Luka came last year as a trade. You knew what this was. I think personally, in my opinion, it's positioning. It's Rich Paul. It's LeBron's camp. It's LeBron trying to position themselves to force the Lakers to make moves that are win now, but could jeopardize the immediate future with their star player in their roster. That's the problem. That's what the Lakers don't want to do. I posted the link for the call-in show. If anybody wants to call in to discuss the topic of LeBron, all you got to do is just click the link. It'll open up a Google Meet, which is just a video call. Your video won't show up on the screen. It's just going to be an audio call. And we could discuss this potential for LeBron requesting a trade, LeBron trying to get out of LA, putting pressure on LA to change the roster. Obviously, there's a ton of free agent stuff that's happening. In fact, I would like to go over some of those guys with you, but you can, of course, call in at any time. The link is in the chat. All right, so I already kind of talked a little bit about the Atlanta Hawks, and let me see if I can kick this up a notch for you guys so you can see a little bit better. All right, these are the most important players that I want to highlight for each team. All right, so the Atlanta Hawks did not re-sign anyone this offseason so far. So contractually, what they've done is they've added players. So the first player they added is Kristaps Porzingis. That was the 3-team trade that took Porzingis from Boston over to Atlanta. Look, guys, Kristaps Porzingis is injury-prone, typically unavailable. In my opinion, while this is an interesting proposition, teaming up Kristaps Porzingis with, Trae Young and Dyson Daniels and those guys, he's so unavailable. His health is such a question mark. I just don't understand how we could trust this. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, if anything comes of this, it's like a cherry on top, but I don't expect it to, unfortunately. Pains me to say it because, Ice Trae, it would be cool to see him become impactful in the playoffs, right? Kristaps Porzingis impactful in the playoffs for the Hawks. They signed Luke Kennard, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he leaves as a free agent, I guess as a sign-in trade. So that helps him earn a little bit more money. That's a nice pickup. He's a nice player. He actually played really, really well in the playoffs. That's probably why he ended up getting this deal. And he's probably going to have a pretty nice role on this team. So look out for Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the Wolves to make an impact in Atlanta. He's a good player. He's a good two-way player, a willing defender, a good scorer. Solid. Okay, Clint Capella left as a free agent. He signed with the Rockets. That adds depth for Houston. Karis LeVert left for the Pistons. That's an interesting ad. That actually enhances the Pistons, I think. I think that's a great move. Larry Nance Jr., he's going to the Cavs. I think that's a reunion of sorts. Veteran leadership. He's going to have some minutes off the bench possibly. George Niang is gone. I think he goes to Boston. And then Terrence Mann. I forget where Terrence Mann went. I forget, man. Maybe Charlotte or something. All right. So, anyways. Boston. They are absolutely shedding bad contracts. They just want to get rid of money. This is an off year for them. Tatum is injured long term. They were in full sell mode, right? Brooklyn Nets, they were all about the draft. They had a ton of draft picks. They re-signed Sharp and Zaire Williams. They put them on 2-year deals. They still, if they're doing anything, they just want picks. All right. Terrence Mann went to Brooklyn. That's what it was. Michael Porter Jr. was traded to the Nets from the Nuggets. Clearly, the Nuggets want to go in a different direction. Michael Porter Jr. was there when they won the NBA Finals back a few years ago, and he was an important player on that team. But I think they're looking for something a little bit more reliable, right? And not that Michael Porter Jr. is not a good player. There's just moments where he disappears, and I think that's what the Nuggets were looking for, something a little more reliable. He was in the trade with the Nuggets for Cam Johnson. D'Angelo Russell now with Dallas gives them some depth off the bench while Kyrie is on the mend. And then it says Trendon Watford, which I don't know who that is. Charlotte's kind of a nothing burger, guys. No offense to the Charlotte fans. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I really don't. I'm lost. But anyways. The Bulls re-signed Trey Jones. They acquired Isaac Okoro from the Cavs. Lonzo Ball goes to Cleveland. I think that's a trade that makes sense. Isaac Okoro wasn't really getting the run in Cleveland. Lonzo Ball hasn't worked out there in Chicago because of injuries. Get a new fresh start. Maybe, he fills a niche as a point guard off the bench. Spelling Darius Garland, something like that, so that could work. Cavs re-signed Sam Merrill. They actually let Ty Jerome go in free agency. He signed with the Grizzlies. I think Ty Jerome will have a prominent role in Memphis, so that could be good for him. Ty Jerome was a disappearing act in the playoffs, so I'm not sad to see him go. He's a regular season player to me. He's not a playoff player, so I was willing to move on from him, no problem. Sam Merrill re-signing is a clear indication that the Cavs organization likes what he brings to the table. The fact that he's a willing defender, he can hit some threes, but again, another guy that really wasn't impactful in the playoffs, so I'm not sure how big you can really be on that guy. Dallas, Kyrie Irving with an extension, 3 years. So that basically tells you what this Dallas Mavericks thing is going to be. It's AD and Kyrie for the next 3 years, right? That's their window for a championship, or 2, right? Maybe they don't win one this year, but they have a chance to win one next year and the following year. They signed D'Angelo Russell to a 2-year deal. That's likely because of Kyrie Irving being unavailable for the first part of the year, a large majority of the regular season. But they're mostly unchanged. Denver Nuggets. They bring back Bruce Brown, who helped them win a championship a few years ago. So that's cool to see him, rejoining. Cam Johnson from the Nets. They signed Tim Hardaway Jr. And then Jonas Valanciunas. That gives Joker a little bit of rest, right? A 7-footer, a traditional big, who's going to come and rebound hopefully a little bit. Offer some rim protection, some resistance within the paint, right? That sort of thing. He's probably going to play 10 minutes a game. You know what I mean? There are 8 minutes a game or something. Joker's still going to play 40, 42, that. But now he doesn't have to play 45 or 46, right? So, Michael Porter Jr. gone. Dario Saric was actually traded. Yeah, he was traded or acquired. in a trade. Okay, so the Pistons. I want to talk about the Pistons. Karis LeVert's a good acquisition. They also, I think the news broke today about Duncan Robinson. So that's a sign and trade from the Heat. Duncan Robinson had nothing going on in Miami. They are all in on Tyler Hero. They were probably just glad that Duncan Robinson's gone, right? So they can move forward. Maybe something good works out for him in Detroit. We'll see. I think Karis LeVert's going to be good for Detroit. Malik Beasley. He's got some legal problems. That guy could go to prison. If I remember correctly, those gambling accusations are super heavy, very, very illegal. So yeah, they needed to do something about that. Dennis Schroeder is gone. He's going to Sacramento. He got paid. Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Nuggets. So he's gone. Warriors. They lost Kevon Looney. I think someone else left too. Houston Rockets re-signed Steven Adams, Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green. They extended Jabari Smith, a future piece of their team. They signed Jayshawn Tate. They extended Fred VanVleet, right? So they secured those guys. Of course, the Kevin Durant trade, the Dorian Finney-Smith signing, and Clint Capella, right? So they've bolstered their roster. They've, created all types of depth and shored up some roles on the team and that sort of thing. In my opinion, I think the Rockets are a team that's going to be pretty damn dangerous next year, right? It's the Thunder, it's the Nuggets, it's the Wolves, it's the Rockets. They're involved, the Warriors, that kind of thing. I think all those teams are in there. Obviously, Jalen Green in a trade for KD. Dylan Brooks traded as well. Pacers, they lost Miles Turner. Huge loss for them. He's been a fantastic player for them, and they haven't really done anything to fill the void in free agency, and I think they're going to have a hard time doing it. They typically, teams like Indiana have to overpay for players, and they don't return value, right? So, tough situation to be in. The other LA team, the Clippers, they re-sign Nick Batum. They extend James Harden. They agree to a deal to acquire Brook Lopez as a free agent. I think that's a solid pickup. So you have Zubac and you have Brook Lopez. I think some games you play both of those guys at the same time on the floor. That's an interesting dynamic. But I think more typically it's going to be Brook Lopez kind of spelling Ivica Zubac. But yeah, we'll kind of see how that plays out. That's a good signing. They waived Drew Eubanks. All right, Lakers. I don't know who Jake LaRavia is. I don't know. You guys let me know if that's a good acquisition or whatever with Jake LaRavia for the Lakers. Dorian Finney-Smith leaves, goes to the Rockets. The Lakers weren't really using DFS anyways to his potential, so this could be good for his career. I don't think J.J. Redick was developing anybody, so maybe it's a blessing in disguise. All right, Grizzlies. They re-sign Aldama. Jaren Jackson Jr. got huge money. Cam Spencer. All right, so they got those guys re-signed. Trade with the Magic brings them Cole Anthony and KCP. I don't know what KCP brings to the table anymore. He is far removed from a championship contributor, so I don't know if that moves the needle. Ty Jerome is a nice regular season player. He makes the Grizzlies, I think, a little bit deeper and that sort of thing. Desmond Bane was traded. Goes to Orlando, which makes, I think, Orlando a much better team. Luke Kennard to the Hawks. All right, the Heat. Davion Mitchell returns on a 2-year deal. Simone Fentecchio, no idea who that is. They lose Duncan Robinson, and that's pretty much it for the Heat. All right, Bucks. This one's important. We got to talk about this. The Milwaukee Bucks are doing everything and anything for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Everything and anything under the sun. They bring back Kevin Porter Jr. on a 2-year deal. He played well last year, so I think they're good with that. Bobby Portis, who's been pretty reliable as a forward for them. Excellent screen setter, rebounder, can knock down the shot sometimes, has decent range. He's an experienced veteran player, right? You have to have that on your team, right? Taurean Prince, they gave him a 2-year deal. Jericho Sims, 2-year deal. And then Gary Trent Jr., who had the breakout last year, right, in the playoffs. They agree to a 2-year deal. All right. In a trade with the Hornets, they bring in Vasilije Micic. Miles Turner, I think, is a good signing. That fills the void left by Brook Lopez departing. And then Gary Harris, a 2-year deal. Pat Connaughton is gone. Dame Lillard was waived. A lot of people are scratching their head about that. I'm not really sure why. The Bucks are going to be paying his contract because contracts are guaranteed in the league. They're going to spread it out over the duration of several years, I believe. But this is a win-now mode for Giannis. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, this is just proof they're doing everything they can for Giannis. What else? The Brook Lopez going to the Clippers. Okay, so we got that covered. All right, next we have the Timberwolves. Joe Ingles returns on a 1-year deal. Julius Randle, 3-year deal. Naz Reid, 5-year deal. I told everybody that when the Wolves moved on from Karl Anthony Towns, that was because they felt good about Naz Reid in terms of, power forward, center, or whatever. And Julius Randle has shown that he's a capable player, and he had a really breakout season, especially in the playoffs. So they're trying to keep those guys. They did lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That is an important loss. He was really nice off the bench in the playoff run. So that's tough. Pelicans, I don't know if any of these are substantial, but the Pelicans acquire Jordan Poole. I don't think the Pelicans are going to be very good this year. Kevon Looney, that's, he's looking to make some money. Sadiq Bey, whatever. Bruce Brown to the Nuggets. CJ McCollum was traded to the Wizards, so he goes to basketball purgatory. And then Kelly Olynyk to Washington as well. The Pelicans are not competitive. The Knicks, what have they done since they fired their coach? They have acquired Jordan Clarkson, signed a deal. Yabusele, the French phenom from Philadelphia, he signs 2 years with the Knicks. And that's pretty much it. OKC, they make SGA the richest player in the NBA history, gave him the biggest contract ever. Jay Mitchell returns on a 3-year deal. I don't know who the hell that is. I never really saw him playing. And I watched a lot of Thunder basketball. I don't know. Jalen Williams, not the J-Dub. This is the other Jalen Williams. 3-year extension. The other Jalen Williams is going to get big money when he's due, when he's up. The Thunder lose Dylan Jones, whoever the hell that is. All right, Magic. The Orlando Magic acquired Desmond Bane from the Grizzlies and signed Tyus Jones. Both of those are good ads for the Magic. Guys, the Magic are going to be good because they got players, right? They got the Wagner brothers, right? Franz and Mo Wagner, healthy, hopefully. Paolo is going to be back, obviously, to make a statement. He's an all-star caliber player, one of the best young talents in the league. The Magic are going to be tough next year. They did lose Cole Anthony in a trade. KCP also in a trade. Both those players to the Grizzlies. And then Gary Harris to the Bucks via free agency. So their team looks a little bit different, but I think their acquisitions are pretty good for them. All right, the Sixers, I don't even know what to say. Whatever the hell they're doing. They have a trash roster that has players that are just unavailable. It is just the worst. The Suns have dismantled their team, or they're trying to. They re-sign Colin Gillespie on a 1-year deal. They've acquired Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green from the Rockets. Nigel Hayes-Davis got a 1-year deal, and Mark Williams was traded from the Hornets to the Suns, offering some center help. Remember, the Lakers were trying to get him. Departures, Tyus Jones, Kevin Durant, Mason Plumlee, Vasilije Micic. They're going to still look to offload, Bradley Beal. I don't know how you do that with the no trade clause and how that looks, but whatever. They're in bad shape. Portland Trailblazers, they traded for Drew Holiday from the Celtics. Garrett Temple comes back on a 1-year deal. They lose Anthony Simons in the trade to the Celtics. And then they bought out DeAndre Ayton, and he's probably going to sign with the Lakers tomorrow. Probably. But the Lakers still need more, but at least that gives them a viable center, a starting level center, actually. He'll start for the Lakers day one. And who knows, it might be good for his career. You never know. All All right, the Kings acquire Dennis Schroeder in a 3-year deal. Dario Saric from the Nuggets. So they've got a couple of new players. Jake LaRavia went to the Lakers, and Jonas Valanciunas to the Nuggets. So they're going to look a little different. Spurs signed Luke Cornett. That gives them some depth at center. They gave him a 4-year deal. And then Sandro Mamakashvili. I don't even know who that is, guys. I can't even front. All right, so the Spurs did their magic already, right? They acquired De'Aaron Fox last year. They're kind of who they are, right? Raptors, they extended Jakob Poeltl. He's a nice player. They re-signing him makes sense. They did most of their moves last year as well, acquiring Brandon Ingram and making some moves. We'll see if they improve this year. The Jazz, they acquire Yusuf Nurkic from the Hornets. They waived Johnny Uzang. I don't even know how to say that. They traded away Con Sexton. Jordan Clarkson was a buyout. He eventually signed with the Knicks. All right, the Wizards, basketball purgatory. CJ McCollum is there now. Dylan Jones is there. Kelly Olynyk is there. Those were traded players. And they were traded for Sadiq Bey, Anthony Gill, and Jordan Poole. Okay, so that covers everything. All right, so I went ahead and posted the link. It's in the live chat for those of you that want to call in, discuss any of the rosters around the league, any of the moves that were made. The LeBron thing, obviously, is a big topic. Chances of an OKC repeat. The potential for them to become a dynasty. Maybe you're super excited about your home team. You want to discuss them. What else did I put into this live stream in the title? What else do we want to discuss? The LeBron thing, the Lakers demands, like whatever you guys want to discuss is fine. So I posted the link. It's in the live chat. You got a Google account. That's it. It opens up as a video call. Just make sure your permissions are allowed, and then it'll do a call. I'll let you in, and you kind of say your piece. We could discuss these things. And I'm really happy to see the Cavs didn't do anything stupid. Honest to goodness. I'm very happy the Cavs didn't do any bum stuff. Seriously. And the reason why I say that is because I think the Cavs, for what it's worth, are built for another run. I just think they can't get cute. I don't think Kenny Atkinson can do the same things that he did as last year, right? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Kenny Atkinson, trying to play cute with his lineups and, sitting guys out and all these other things, getting experimental or whatever. Obviously, I think they played the regular season. They wanted to win games and all that, and it's important, but really it's about preparing for the playoff run. Let's see here. I don't know why the live chat disappeared for me. Oh, Spurs and said builds more chemistry. Yeah, I'm all for the chemistry building. Absolutely, I'm all for that. But I still think there's a certain element of toughness and resilience and character that has to be built during the season. If you watch the Cavs in the second half of the year, they didn't look the same as the first half of the year. What's up, little one? Hey! Got my daughter here with us. What's in here, Yada? On a live stream. Yeah, it's okay. Here, Yada. You want to go play over there? You want to say hi to everybody first? Here, can you see the camera? Say hi. Hi. And say it into the microphone. Say hi. Hi. Here, Yada. What you got there? Alright, so Goon was supposed to come through. He was supposed to do the call thing. He said, Sneed, we got to do a call-in show. I did. I even messaged him and told him to come through, but he ain't coming through, so he's going to miss out. And now we're going to shut down the stream, and then he ain't going to come through. Micah, I posted the link for the live call-in show. Go ahead. Yeah, appreciate you, Micah. If we were just talking about all the free agency moves, we basically covered every single team and all their moves. I went through the whole shebang, every acquisition, every trade, every signing. We talked about the LeBron thing and what's going on with LA. Clearly, I think it's positioning. You know, he wants to put pressure on the team to do more, to make the roster a win-now kind of championship contender. And the hard thing about that is it's going to probably impact the roster in the future for Luka. You know, and I definitely went into detail on how that kind of looks and how it's perceived. And I'm sure they're going to talk about it on ESPN, and all the talking heads will discuss it. And, you know, I don't see it any other way than him just being selfish, right? Like, he wants to win, even if it's at the detriment of the future composition of the roster for the Lakers. I'm glad that my team doesn't have to deal with that type of distraction. I know you're a Lakers fan, so you're obviously going to deal with that distraction. I also know that you're one of the Laker fans that has not been thrilled with LeBron's time in LA, right? Producing the one chip is nice. Everybody puts down the whole, like, bubble ring and all of that, but, you know, there's years where he missed the playoffs, and there's years of underachievement, and clearly he's past his prime. He's elderly in terms of NBA years, right? Like a player who's over 40. What is their typical role on an NBA roster, right? It's a guy who's clapping on the sidelines. You know, he's helping in the locker room. He's leading the young players. You know, LeBron still probably views himself as a major contributor to a championship team, and it's just not the case. Oh, my God. Let's see here. Micah said he needs to position himself up out of here. Oh, man. He said he doesn't want to win. Remember, he says rings ain't the A-all, be-all. Yo, when he said the rings ain't the A-all, be-all, I had to hit pause, rewind, because I thought I heard A-all, be-all. Because I know the saying is end-all, be-all. You know? I don't know where he came up with that, but yeah, I do remember that. I had to listen back, but he definitely said A-all, be-all. He did. Oh, man. Yeah, the ring culture thing, I think, was some disingenuous commentary nonsense. Clearly, he wants to win, and I don't blame him. You play to win the game, right? Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, anyways, was hoping to get some calls. Maybe next time we'll do another call-in show. We'll throw the link out there. We'll see who can come through. No problem. We'll try again next time. But I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, checking out the live stream. Please give this video a like and a share. Let people know about what we're doing on this platform. And we're looking forward to grow and making the channel bigger and the community getting involved with every stream that we do. Appreciate you guys again. Like, share, subscribe. Tune in for more later. Check out some more videos, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
I got that heat, let's go.